Right, so we're live, so I better hurry up. Welcome to the studio, Body Awareness, with me, Patrick. Here we are for really the first session in a while, not the first rodeo, but one where we can work with those 3 points of yoga, Tai Chi, and body awareness. We'll start with yoga. Let's get into it. And as I promised in the promotion, we're going to talk about a Langana practice, a very calming one which will allow you to sleep better tonight, because this is for you, America, this is for the West Coast, this is for the East Coast, and sending you the big love from Australia. Well, it's for everyone in the world, whoever wants to join in. You might be in Australia going, who is this mug? I'm Patrick, and I've had 25 years of investigating yoga according to the principles of Krishnamacharya, Tai Chi, as taught by Chen Man Ching. Well, he was taught by Cheng Fu. That's a long story, but anyway, we're lucky enough to be able to have these technologies passed down to us by these great teachers. You know, we are so fortunate to be living in this information age. So let's get into this yoga. Let's start this relief and this connection to the earth, to our heart center, to our breath, to help calm our minds that we're right here, right now, in the present, and everything's going to be a-okay. Let's start with the breath. Let's start with some simple movements. If you know about the breath, if you know about yoga, then I'm still hoping you'll be able to learn something from this practice I'm about to give you. Let's start with our hand on our chest and our hand on our belly, because what we're going to do is we're going to inhale and feel that inhalation going into the chest. Inhale, there's a slight restriction in the throat, that Ujjayi breath. Inhaling to the heart center, feel the chest expand, front of the chest, sides and back, and then exhale, feel the belly coming in and up. There's that bandha, that Uddiyana bandha, from the base up to the belly. Notice that pause, and again, let's go back to that inhalation, chest expanding, coming down through to the heart center, that receptivity, that softness, and then exhaling, that strength as it comes in and up. You can even pull up from Mula Bandha up to through Uddiyana Bandha to that Hridaya, the heart center. Yeah, so we're getting into this mechanisms of the breath and the body. That gets us to that first point of Krishnamacharya. The movement of the breath is the movement of the body. The movement of the body is the movement of the breath. Yeah, and then there's also this deep connection to the heart center and to the earth. And now we're just going to close our mind and our eyes and all these senses, and we're just going to go into that place of non-changing, this samasthiti, just for an inhalation and an exhalation. Smile through the whole body, through the face, close the eyes. One full inhalation, one full exhalation, one full inhalation, and slow down that exhalation. Just slow it down. More exhalation than inhalation. And then just allow yourself to sit at the bottom of that exhalation. Then slowly open the eyes. Slowly open the eyes. And then inhale, bring the arms around the body. Again, inhaling to the chest, chest expands. And then exhale, bring the arms back around the body. Okay, now we're going to Inhale, bring the tailbone under, and we're going to have a little bit of a back arch through the sternum. There we are. And then exhale, hands coming back around the body. Very nice. One more time. Inhale, looking up at the hands, tailbone tucking under. Exhale, belly coming in and up. Now let's incorporate that second point of Krishnamacharya, whereby the inhalation is receptivity. The chest expands, we've already spoken about this, and then exhale, there's strength to that receptivity as the belly comes in and up. And we're going to throw a forward bend in there, but we're not going to look to tighten, bring the kneecaps up. We're not looking to create any stress or strain in the body. We're just going to lower the forward bend through. So inhale, hands coming up around the body. There's that Ujjayi breath. Exhale, then move. Exhale, coming down. Soft knees, soft neck, and then inhale back up. That very simple move. Feet are hip width apart. I can't quite do it because I'm on the edge of this wee cliff. Exhaling down, belly coming in and up. You can still pull up from those bundas. Inhale, then move. Let the arms bring you up, all the way up to the top, looking up at the hands. And one more time, in your own time. All those principles. Being with your breath. Let the arms bring you up. When the hands meet at the top of the breath, finish the breath and then exhale. Bring the hands to the heart center. Can you feel it? Can you feel that sensation through the body, that relaxation? Now we're going to do that one more time, and then we're going to stride one of the legs back, but we're going to focus on lengthening this exhalation because we're calming the body. We're integrating that parasympathetic nervous system. Exhale, then move. And then stride back and inhaling up into the heart center. Chest expands. One more time. Down. Inhale back up. No stress. No struggle. Exhale, then move. And then inhale back up. And we're going to stay here for 2 breaths. Bent knees. Allow the softness, that receptivity to be there with the inhalation. The exhalation, you can go a little bit deeper. If you're wanting that extra work, you want to put a bit more work into it, that's up to you. This is your yoga. I'm just helping you with a few principles and a little bit of guidance with the movement, but certainly no struggle. After the next inhalation, exhaling down and stepping forward and inhaling back up. And then exhale and then move. So that's the third principle. The breath envelops the movement. Stride the other leg back. Inhale, Virabhadrasana. Coming up, inhaling. Exhaling down. Inhaling up. So if you're wanting to energize the system, you'd be doing this a lot more quicker. You'd probably exhaling down, you'd be getting more repetitions. But for the market that I'm after, I'm looking at you, America. I'm looking for you to calm the farm. Exhaling down. And how do you do that? You're focusing more on that exhalation. Inhaling up. Let the inhalation come naturally. Let the arms bring you up. And staying here for 3 breaths. 2 or 3 breaths, you know. You're after that big inhalation, that energizing breath. For you people in Australia, it's the morning time. You can still get that energy happening, that morning brightness that's available. Exhale, belly coming in and up. No struggle, not trying to get anywhere. Just you and your breath and your movement. And then after the next inhalation, Exhaling, coming down. And striding forward. Inhale back up. And hands to the heart center. Always coming back to this heart. Notice that connection, that awareness, not the separation of you and the environment, just the environment. You're part, you are it. You're the power of that whole environment. Beautiful. And if you're just after a short practice, we're going to be doing, about 20 minutes of this moving breathing. We're going to be going through quite quickly the standing, kneeling, lying, inverted, laying down, back bends, twists, forward bends. In fact, we're probably not even going to get all those in because we just don't have the time. But here at the studio, what I'm looking to do is I want to empower you to have your own practice, because a yoga practice is very individual. This is why they call it Vinyasa. This idea of not one yoga to suit them all, but your body, your mind, where you are right now, what is the best to serve you, with what you've got. You've got this body, breath, mind, the environment, this incredible sanctuary which you've got in your backyard. I mean, in America, oh my goodness, the natural wonders. Woo! Here we go. Second part, we're going to go into the kneeling. So we have this mat, and the next principle we're going to talk about is how the breath envelops the movement. So you've heard me talking about before how start the breath and then start the movement. Well, that's basically it. So let's get into it. Okay, so starting off the front of the mat. Inhale, hands coming around the body. Exhale, forward bend, soften the knees, soften the neck. Stride back, 3.5 feet or wherever it is, and then inhale, coming up. Exhaling down. Lengthen that exhalation. And then stride the other leg back. Down through Chaturanga Dandasana. Up through Up Dog. Exhale back through Downward Facing Dog. Stride forward. Inhaling up. Tailbone tucking under. Exhaling down. Stride forward. And then stride the other leg straight back. Inhaling up. Exhaling down. Stride back on that empty breath, coming down. Exhaling and then inhaling up through Up Dog. And then tailbone tucking under, push back into Adho Mukha Shavasana. Knees can be bent, heels can be high, and then you can push back. But we're talking about the heart center. You can stay here for a longer period of time. It's a lovely pose for incorporating the parasympathetic nervous system because it's inverted and your belly can easily come in and up towards the chest. And if I'm not careful, I might just fall into samadhi, but we don't want to do that right now. We want to go into the next move. So we'll bring that leg forward. Inhale coming up. Not that we're trying to get to samadhi. It just happens. It just arises naturally. Exhaling down. Can't try and get into these places. Striding forward. And then inhaling. Let the arms bring you up. See? This is where we're at. And then we can come up. It's safer. It's easier. It's lovely. This exhaling down. And it's creating this beautiful yantra. This circle around the body. Yoga, Tai Chi, they both talk about it. So just closing the eyes because we're now going back to be on our knees. So that was the rest of that sun salutation. If that's enough for you, then just take a seat. You can watch the rest of this, but be aware of how the inhalation comes naturally and how the exhalation can be lengthened. And this is going to really calm the body. Right, so this third part, or second part, I didn't really get into the kneeling, did I? I kept on going with the standing, but that's okay. We know what we're doing. So we'll just get ourselves into downward facing dog, which means that you get onto your knees here, your hands are under the shoulders and the feet are behind the knees, and then exhale, push back into downward facing dog. Close the eyes, no drama. Inhale, looking to cat. Really connect to the center of the earth, not with intention, just with that feeling. Exhaling back. Inhale, standing on the knees. Quite a Brahmana pose, this one. And then exhaling down. Here we are, in pose of the child, oftenly known. Very lovely. Just staying here if you like. And stay here for a breath. Or you can come through to up cobra. What's the difference? Well, the feet aren't tucked under. Yeah, there we are, cobra. Ooh, lovely. Exhale. And then, inhale. And then exhale. Tuck the toes under, push the knees into the floor, and then push back into Adho Mukha Shavasana. You can stay here for a couple of breaths. It's so symmetrical, this kneeling part of the practice, that you can just hang out here for a while if you like. Or inhale, bring the knees to the floor, eyes are closed, looking up, cat pose, and then exhale back into pose of the child. Inhale, standing on the knees, hands above the head, hands together in prayer position. Hold the breath, chin tucked into the lifted chest. Ooh, there's a bandha. Very energizing. A brightness to the pose. Exhaling back down. You know what's next? Cobra. Inhale, pulling forward. There we go. And then exhale, tuck the toes under, push the knees into the floor. There's that lovely, simple vinyasa routine. Roll the shoulders out. You can bend the knees. This allows you to get into that lower back. You can stay here for as long as you like. Or you can join us by inhale, bring the knees to the floor. And we're going to lay on our back and hold our knees. Now, it might be enough for you today. It might have been a long day, it might have been a long morning, and this might have been enough, But not for me. No, I'm going to put my feet on the ground and I'm going to bring my arms over the head with an inhalation. So, inhaling, tailbone tucking under, coming onto my shoulders, arms over the head, eyes are closed. Exhale, coming back down to hold the knees. Ooh, look at this. And then inhale, take the feet to the roof or the sky. Exhaling, coming back down. Inhale, feet to the floor, arms over the head, vertebra rolling onto the shoulders, tailbone tucking under. And we're going to stay here for one inhalation. Exhaling, flatten the abdominals. Inhale, increase the bit of a back arch. Exhale, coming down to hold the knees. Very nice. And there we are. Just be with the breath. No separation, no observation of any separation, just ride the breath. There might be a slight movement of the knees going away on the inhalation and the knees coming in on the exhalation. And it's worked. I mean, I could stay there for the whole tide, but I'm not, because I got more to show you and more to share. But that would be enough. If you've just got a little bit of time, and it's in the PM of the day, in the afternoon, the evening, and you just want to feel a little bit of connection, a little bit of your own sanctuary, then that's plenty. You know, we don't need to go into this inverted, even though we just finished with the hands holding the knees, which is a inverted pose, and that's pretty good. You know, what we're going to do is we're going to do as I said, which is unusual, but it's also we're going to do the pranayama, which is what I promoted, this calming pranayama, and I've been sort of alluding to it through this wee practice that we're doing, that it's about extending the exhalation. Yeah, so this lovely pranayama, it's a little unusual, probably never done it, but sitting either on a seat, on the floor, easy cross-legged. You might want to have some height under the buttocks, but we're going to start with the eyes open, and then you can close the eyes once you've got the mechanics of it, and thinking about the heart center, thinking about extending the exhalation. Don't judge whether you're doing it right or wrong. You're here, you're doing it right, yeah? And so we're going to inhale, raise the right arm. Light smile through the whole body. Exhale, turning to the right. Slow the exhalation down, lengthening the exhalation. Notice that pause at the bottom of the breath. Inhale, coming back to the front. A little bit of an Ujjayi breath, control through the back of the throat. Exhaling, hands back down. And that's half a round. We'll go the other side to complete it. Inhaling, hand coming up. Again, the chest expands. Notice the pause, and then exhaling. Longer exhalation as you turn and take the left hand to the right shoulder. Feel that sanctuary within. And then inhale, coming back up. In your own time, your own speed. My breath might be too long or too short for you. Exhaling, extend that exhalation. That's the key to calming the system today. We're extending that exhalation. And then the other side, inhale, let that come naturally. Just a natural inhalation. Exhale, we're going to focus on that, lengthening it. You know, I don't know whether I'll be able to get up from these rocks, but well, c'est la vie. We've only got some Tai Chi and body work to do after, and we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Everything is fine. Notice that pause between the breaths. Inhaling, coming back to the front. No struggle, no struggle. Hardly any work either. There's a little bit of mental, you know, am I really doing this for the same amount of right time? Yeah. But perhaps not. Perhaps, you know, you're just in your zone, which is where you want to be. Inhaling the other side. Deeply connecting to the center. Just not with so much with the thought intention, but with the power of your own existence. Your own existence as this whole cosmos, not the disconnection. Inhaling back to the front. We're not trying to get anywhere. We're just doing this simple movement and breath. Exhaling, exhaling, slow that exhalation down. We'll do another round of this. And then exhaling to the other side. Then inhaling back to the front. Eyes are closed, no drama, just being with the breath. Don't be judging whether you're doing it right or wrong, you're just doing it. Just notice the pauses and then exhaling. Just extend that exhalation, lengthening that exhalation. One more side. Inhaling, just let that come naturally. Taking that hand to the opposite shoulder, a light turn. Be with the sea eagles. Look at them. Yeah, it's so amazing. Oh, there you are. Oh, it's a baby one too. There were 3 out circling this morning and it's looking down. Oh my goodness, what a delight. And I hope you're having a delightful morning. So I think you could sit for a little longer, so you could turn me off because I will jibber jabber about sea eagles, especially as the juveniles learn to land on the eucalypt tree and it's watching me and I'm watching you, and we're all watching out for each other, which is what we need to be doing, because we're fully connected, fully connected. So thank you for joining me. I hope that's about 20 minutes. So yeah, you could just sit there in silence if you like and see where that takes you with that connection. Or you can join me for, what are we going to do next? Let's do the body work, whereby we're going to identify what's the difference between Adho Mukha Shavasana and downward facing dog. Yeah, it's an interesting question. You know, they look the same, but really, they're different. They're different. So, starting now, cut. Welcome to Body Work with me, Patrick. Today we're talking about downward facing dogs, one of the most lovely poses. Why is it lovely? Because it's kind of natural for us. You know, you watch kids playing and they will often just go to this movement of hands on the ground, feet on the ground, and head looking between the feet. That's the fundamentals of it. And those, they're doing it. They're doing Adho Mukha Shavasana. But what happened to this pose to turn it into downward facing dog? It wasn't that the Kelpie arrived and did it in front of us, although it might have been. You know, what came first, the Kelpie or the pose? I suspect it was, I don't know. The jury's out on that one. But anyway, look, the point I'm trying to get to is that downward facing dog, you're trying to get somewhere. You're trying to adjust the body. You're looking for this alignment. You're looking to create this connection to the body through this pose by having strength and the shoulders opening and the biceps rolling out and the forearms rolling in and the awareness of the middle finger and the thumb. And although these things are present in Adho Mukha Shavasana, it's not where the mind is at, and it's not this idea of trying to get to this perfect pose. Because when you're a 2-year-old and you're looking between your legs, as I just described, you're not trying to get to anywhere. You're just having a look at the world in a different way. And that's kind of as simple and as innocent as we can kind of bring to this conversation. And that's a good thing. That is a good thing. I tell you what else is a good thing, that bloody sea eagle. That sea eagle's a good thing. So let's talk about downward facing dog, because that's got a lot of the physical fundamentals of what we're talking about. And I'm not having a go at downward facing dog because I love the pose. You know, you can begin to lose yourself, and as I said before, you know, you can fall into this lovely place of kind of nothingness, this samadhi, and it's not somewhere to get. You just fall into it. You know, it just happens naturally. And let's talk about this pose, setting it up. So you set it up by getting onto the floor and kneeling on the floor and having your hands under your shoulders, yeah? Both hands, and the middle finger pointing straight ahead on both hands, yeah? And the thumb is pressed into the ground. And so is the middle finger. So you've got this very strong connection from the thumb to the middle finger. This is where this foundation of the pose, and also across the ball of the hand and across the front and the knuckles of the hand, yeah? And then we've got the wrists to look at, and we can have symmetry on both sides. Let me turn around this way so I can look at you. And so we've got this symmetry of the wrinkles on the hands as well being symmetrical. You know, this alignment in downward facing dog can be very important, you know, because from that foundation you can create the strength of pushing from the hands all the way to the top of the buttocks, which allows you to get into the lower back and hook the tailbone under and have that sacrum pushing back and under. And it allows you to expand the chest and create space between the ears and the biceps. And what I mean by that is that and then we're rolling the inner elbow forward and then pushing back and trying to maintain that opening that you create by rolling the arms forward, yeah? And then where's another place? So once you come up, so we're on our knees, and then we inhale, and we inhale looking up with cat, yeah, and then exhale, take the buttocks up and have the heels high, yeah. Have the knees slightly bent because it's safer that way, and then roll the shoulders out. Bring the inner elbow to the front. Again, the foundations. Middle finger, thumb pressing into the ground. Take the chest more towards the thighs. Yeah, and when you've done that with the exhalation, inhale, lifting up, thinking about up. And then continue to think up, and then exhale, take the heels to the floor, but don't lose that space that you made between the ears and the biceps, and certainly not what you made between the abdomen and the thighs. And there you've got it. You've got this, and it's a moving pose, even with this strong awareness of the body and trying to achieve this lengthening through the back and just letting the head go. There's still this space that is made in downward facing dog. Yeah. And so you might be thinking, but that is Adho Mukha Shavasana. Well, it's kind of not. There's some differences. There is that. There are those certain physicalities to the asana in that way. But the core principles of yoga are not in what I just did and what I just explained. It alluded to it, but alluding to things is not enough. alluding to anything in this story. I want to give it to you straight. And it's about the heart center. This Adho Mukha Shavasana, it's about the breath. It's about connecting the mind and the breath and the body and removing this idea of being separate in the pose, removing the idea of trying to get somewhere because there's nowhere to get. It's just you and your body. Don't worry about the alignment. Just riding the breath and being with that movement. You know, there's not, you can, if staying in the pose and staying in the pose for a long time is what you want, then that's good. But perhaps you just want to move and breathe. So inhale, looking up, cat pose. Exhale, down dog. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, down dog. There it is. There's the breath. There's the movement. Inhale, looking up. Exhale, looking back between the legs. And then you can stay here for 2 breaths, extending the length of that exhalation, noticing the pause. You know, in downward facing dog, there's no receptivity to the pose. It's just power and function, whereby inhale, looking up, exhale, belly coming in and up. Pull up from the perineum. There's a bandha, Mula Bandha, comes up to Uddiyana Bandha, creates this cave in the belly. Exhaling back, here's the Uddiyana Bandha. Inhale, staying there. Inhale as receptivity. There's a significant difference. We don't hear about that in down dog, but we hear about it and we know about it and we experience that receptivity in Adho Mukha. Riding the breath, lengthening the exhalation, letting the inhalation come naturally. Or if you're wanting to energize from this pose, and really lengthening and strengthening through the inhalation, that receptivity, allowing yourself to become brighter, noticing that pause, then exhale, pushing further back, just being with the breath, belly coming in and up. You've got those 3 bandhas coming into the pose. Mula Bandha, Uddiyana Bandha. Chin tucking into the lifted chest. So the lifted chest is coming towards the chin. It creates Jalandhara Bandha. Inhale, bring the knees to the floor. So I hope I helped to outline some of the differences there between what is Adho Mukha Shavasana, this deep connection to the heart center, having the intention there. Even if you've only got a few minutes to do your practice, you can even set that intention, the bhavana intention of, you know, it's a morning, I want a calm, focused day, and then dropping that, and then just going in and doing your cat to dog, back to cat, back to dog with the breath, because it's nice to have the structure of downward facing dog, having the structure and awareness of the hands pushing into the ground with the right awareness, so the foundations are strong. Having the awareness of having the strength through the ball of the foot, having the inner arches lifted, have the skin on the front of the foot rolling towards the arch as the little toe side isn't compromised, and the blade of the foot lengthening. Now this all sounds like yoga, but no, it's not really. We're talking more about, you know, trying to get somewhere. And once those dynamics are understood, then you don't need to worry too much about it. So once you've got those fundamentals locked in, then you can get to the breath. Then you can do your own practice. You can stay in Adho Mukha Shavasana without having to worry about things that distort us, that disconnect us from this incredible sanctuary that is ourselves and our heart and our environment and our family and friends. And I hope that you got a good idea of how the bandhas work in that pose, with the exhalation pulling up from Mula Bandha, coming up through Uddiyana Bandha to create this cave in the belly. Won't be the only time I talk about these things. I'm going to be going live regularly, and I hope you can join me. And I hope I got my timings right, because that was what I was aiming for, about 20 minutes. It's probably a bit short. But what I would add to the Adho Mukha is that you could sit and just watch the breath for a few minutes. Take all the pressure out of trying to get somewhere, trying to have, really got your intention right. Just ride the breaths for 3 breaths after you've done that wee cycle of up dog to cat, cat to up dog. Sorry, down dog. You know what I mean. The Adho Mukha Shavasana, what we've been talking about. So, yeah. Thank you very much. Which leads us to the third part of today's practice, which is Tai Chi. Here we go. Get up. Get on up. And we're gonna work on the first 3 moves of the form by Master Chen Man Ching. Yeah. And there's a lot to be said about the connections between yoga and Tai Chi. And I was rabbiting on about how this deep connection to the earth, and that's not to be discounted in Tai Chi either. It's visceral. This is one of the main things that you're aiming to connect with, this deep connection to terra firma, to our sanctuary of planet Earth, that we really need to be treating like our dear mother, because we have our deep connection that's been with us, and it's visceral. All the great ancient teachers, they talk about this strong connection. You could write volumes about how little we don't know, but you can also write volumes about how much we do know. And thanks to the great teachings of our teachers like Chen Man Ching and Cheng Fu and Patrick Kelly and all these great Tai Chi teachers and yoga teachers, these similarities come back to the heart center, yeah? And also this central column as it comes to the base. You're not going to get your first 3 moves if I don't hurry up. So here, let's hurry up. So, standing with the heels together, feet apart, about 45 degrees, and then transfer the weight onto the right foot. Yeah, and this allows you to bend or turn on the ball of that left foot. Yeah, turn on the ball of the left foot and take it out to the left, and then push on that right foot, and then turn 30 degrees to the right. And as you get to the top, your right toes will come in, and you'll find that the outsides of the feet are parallel, and you can begin to sink into the ground. Definitely into the ground, into the ground, into the ground. Tailbone tucking under, inhale, raise the arms, and then when you get to about 2/3 of the way up with the hands, start to sink. Take the mind into the feet. Upper body drops into the lower body. Yeah, outsides of the feet are parallel. Make sure those knees are going over the feet. Yeah, hands rising, sinking into the floor, and then the hands go over as if they go over a ball, and then they come down to beside the waist. There we go. Now we're like this body which is ready to go, or continuing to move on this lovely journey. Push off the right foot to the top of the head, and then the left toes will come in a little, and then the right toes will come right out. Yeah, Left hand comes to the waist. Upper body again drops down onto the lower body. This knee going over that foot. And then push from the back foot to the front foot. Here's the second move. And then inhale, as you settle into that front foot, inhale, concentrate. Mind goes to the top of the head, and then step forward with that left foot. Whoa. And then step forward with that left foot, and then push from the back foot to the right foot. There might be an opening in the inner groin, but the tailbone tucking under, and this energy is going straight forward. So it ends up with the left hand in front of the waist and the right hand is parallel to the left thigh. There we are. There's the first three moves. Yes, and it may not seem much, but it's enough to keep you puzzled, right? Starting off, weight into the right foot, step out with the left foot. I'll try and keep this basic so you can practice it tomorrow. Push off the right foot, toes come in. This leaves you in this horse stance. I'm slightly, because the rocks are slightly, and then, oh, the bird life's nuts. There's a cormorant and a sea eagle and you guys, thank you for being and watching. Here we go. So from the outsides of the feet parallel, inhale, hands come up. Before they get to the top, start sinking down, all right? So that might be just enough for you. Inhale, hands coming up. This is kind of a Qigong move, but let's add it in the next move so that we've got Tai Chi. The hands settled back down next to the thighs. Push off this right foot and begin to turn to the right. This brings the left foot in a little bit, and then the right foot turns right out, yeah? And then we push from the back foot to the front foot. Tailbone tucking under, upper body dropping down under the lower body, pushing so that the hands end up above the knee, yeah? And then we settle into that front foot, yeah? And then concentrate, lifting up and then stepping forward with the left foot. Drop the right hand and bring the left hand as you turn the body to the left, and the hand is either side, yeah? There's the first three. So there's the opening, that's not really counted, but it could be. One, opening, hands raise, turn to the right, and then turn to the left. There's the 1, 2, 3. Here we go. One more time. Hands rise, settle, turn to the right, step forward with the left, and there it is. I'm so glad to be here because I get to watch all these amazing goings on. And hopefully I will get to see some sort of reaction on the end of this YouTube live that I'm doing. It'd be lovely to see one like or a couple of likes or a, they say, or they do, whatever tickles your fancy. I don't want you to do anything that you don't want to do. But if you know someone that this might help them, then, it might be good for all that, they get to see this wildness that we're doing. This ancient technology, brought to us by so many, they say, 10,000 years to become, the expert or whatever it is. How many millions of years of practice by the combined teachers and practitioners has led to these informations that have been documented, and the common themes, they're bubbling to the surface. We've got the cream. The information age is here. Woo! Let's do that practice again before I fall off. Okay, so here we are. Outside of the feet are not parallel. The heels are together. And then weight transfers onto the right foot. This is an important thing in Tai Chi, this variation of substantial, insubstantial. The right foot becomes substantial. This allows us to turn on the ball of the left foot and step out. There we go. Push, still substantial. Push on this foot. comes to the top of the head. I feel that pressure coming up the body. Tailbone tucks under. I turn 30 degrees as I did that, and that allows me to bring the toes in so that the outside of the feet are parallel, and then I can sink down, the upper body dropping down onto the lower body. That's quite a lot just to open the feet. So there's always something else to understand. This is, for me, one of the differences between yoga and Tai Chi. There's deep acceptance in yoga, and then for me in the Tai Chi there's deep investigation between what are the muscles doing, what's the body doing, and then what's the mind doing. How's the intention fit into all of this? How does the energy work, and what's the energy doing whilst going through these poses, and how does the deep mind settle into all of these things? And then beyond. There's the relaxation, the stretching, the unstretching, the loosening exercises, the whole form. There's a lot of hours to keep the mind, the body, and the heart well entertained and connected. So here we were. Spine is straight, strongest when it's straight. Inhale, lift the arms. When they get to about 2/3, begin to drop down. Awareness in the foot, upper body dropping down onto the lower body. Pressure builds, hand roll over the body, over the ball, and the body is sunk. Push off this right foot, top of the head, left toes come in. Turn the toes of the right foot out. Lower body aligns, upper body aligns. Push from the back foot to the front foot. Tailbone tucking under, open the quad, press into that right foot, concentrate as you move, inhale, step forward, and then right toes come in, left hand comes up to in front of the sternum, right hand parallel with the left thigh. There it is. And there's a wave of expansion at the end that comes from the back foot to the fingertips through the chest, but there's a little bit of trekking to go to get to that view, but maybe not. Maybe that's there for you. Maybe you can feel that awareness, that deep connection to the center of the earth and the central column from the heart center to the base. Oh, I'll see you later. All right, one more time, or a couple of more times, and then hopefully you've got something you can work with, and we'll call it a day, or we'll call it a practice. So, one more time. Weight on the right foot, ball of the left foot, steps out, push from the right foot, top of the head, toes come in, outsides of the feet parallel, a little bit of a horse stance. Inhale, hands raise. Exhale, begin to sink, hands roll over the ball, hands settle back next to the thighs. Dolphins. Okay, I've got to get this. You guys have got to be privy to it. There we go, dolphins, dolphins. He's bloody showing off. Oh, what a job. All right, well, that's going to be hard to beat. Anyway, we're going to have a go. We're going to do our wee practice. I hope you all like birds, because I do. And I will occasionally get distracted to bring you birds as the... Oh, he got something, I think. No, he didn't. Anyway, he's looking down. Alright, so where are we? We're doing this practice a couple more times. And then we're going to say thanks for coming. Here we are. Here's at 45 degrees. Remember? Weight presses onto the right foot. Step out with the left. Turn 30 degrees before the left toes come in. Settle. You can still take a moment. Close the eyes. Place of no changes. Slowly open the eyes. From Wu Wei, we work to Wu Ji. I'm not making this up. And then inhale, hands raise, exhale, sinking down into the feet. Hands rolling over the ball. No stress, hands settle down next to the... Relax. Not loosely relax, but relax the mind and the body. Not loosey-goosey, but relax as in real action, relaxation, real action. Inhale, press off the right foot. Left toes come in a little. Turn the right toes right out. And more dolphins. So many. Oh my goodness. But we've got to do our Tai Chi. Yeah, hands end up next to the feet. And then we're going to step forward with the right foot. And there it is. Yeah. Beautiful. One more time and then I can maybe get a bit more dolphin footage. Inhale. Exhale, begin a little bit of a sink. Exhale, turn the foot out, step out. Inhale. Dropping down. Hands rest. And these dolphins are loving it. They're all over the shop. Like this practice a bit. But anyway, there it is. Just taking a moment just to let the train get to the station and then bring the hands together, rub the hands. We've got some excess energy, chi, prana, and just bring them up over the face. Heels of the hands into the eyes, up over the top of the head. Allow yourself to bank that energy you just created down behind the ears to the underarms, flicking it out to the filters. A little bit of a rub, hands coming around the back, a little bit of a back, down the outside of the legs. We'll get to that. I just want to show you these bloody dolphins, because I love them. Oh, there's a boat. Oh, look at them all. They're all there. I don't know whether we can use much of this footage, but yeah, there's something there. There's a boat with people, look, and there's a dolphin with a fin. So, you know, all in their natural environment, being as wonderful and deeply connected. I mean, this is what we've been talking about with this whole deep connection to the earth, whole deep connection to the heart center. You know, these dolphins, they don't think about it, it just comes naturally to them. Their communication is not placed with words. It's a little bit of loveliness that we're all very lucky to be able to be part of. So thank you for being and enjoying. And I will do another evening class because I think this is going to work for a little bit, and let's do it on Tuesday evening America time, and we'll do it at the same time to be able to, get as many people with a smile. Oh, look, there's a bloody seagull too. With a smile as possible. And I can't thank you enough. All the people who had a look, and 3 people gave us thumbs up. What a victory. And dolphins arrived and seagulls arrived. Oh, might even put together a wee edited version. Oh, dolphins. I've got to stop filming in a minute because it's not really ridiculous, but kind of, I'm not a dolphin channel. This is about yoga and Tai Chi and heart connection and being one with the dolphins. Oh, it is about dolphins. Oh, look. Wonder what we'll see next time.